Welcome to the Jeremiah Patterson Show. There's a lot going on in the news right now, and I get it's a very, very crazy, fast-paced, moving news cycle. But when it comes to this administration, there is one type of story that you have to constantly check in on, and that is the story basically of self-dealings and corruption. Because the level of conflict of interest in this administration is not surprising, but it is mounting, and day after day, it just keeps getting worse. I mean, if you pulled a card out of a hypothetical hat of the corrupt things that are happening in this administration, you would have so many cards in that hat. And I mean, if we could just start with one thing, for instance, of corrupt and shadiness, it's going to be crypto. In 2019, Donald Trump was openly critical of cryptocurrency. He called it not real money and based off of thin air, and even went as far as saying that it had the potential to facilitate illegal activities. And even after he left the White House, he still had the same attitude, calling it a scam. But it wasn't until August of 2024 that, per his financial disclosures, his tone on Bitcoin and crypto had shifted. He generated millions of dollars in it and was accepting cryptocurrency donations and proposed the establishment of a federal Bitcoin reserve. What happened to it being a scam? You see, it's wishy-washy with these guys. In October of 2024, Trump launched something called World Liberty Financial, a crypto project that he was really excited about. He said that it was going to make finance great again. But that did not go so well. The website actually experienced numerous outages and ultimately disrupted the sale of the tokens. By January of this year, just 3 days before Donald Trump was sworn in for his second term as president, he launched this, his very own Trump crypto coin, and instantly it generated millions of dollars in wealth. And after being sworn in as president of the United States, Donald Trump instantly got to work for his crypto buddies to make the U.S. essentially the crypto capital of the planet. And with that goal, of course, was an opportunity for blatant corruption.
You launched your crypto coin the other day. Do you intend to continue selling products that benefit yourself personally while you're president?
Well, I don't know if it benefited. I don't know where it is. I don't know much about it other than I launched it. I heard it was very successful. I haven't checked it. Where is it today?
You made a lot of money, sir.
How much?
Several $1 billion, it seems like, in the last several days.
Several billion? That's peanuts for these guys.
You see the problem here? That's Donald Trump there gleefully basking about the fact that he made billions of dollars in crypto only a day into his second term. So he's excited about this. He's effectively now benefiting off the presidency. That's what's happening here. And to booster this effort, to excite his crypto buddies more, on January 23rd, he signed an executive order called Strengthening American Leadership in Digital Financial Technology. And what this did was essentially establish a working group on digital asset markets, which would be responsible for weighing the possibility of the United States forming a strategic national digital asset stockpile, among other things. So, this is definitely going to be exciting to the cryptocurrency industry. And this story about enrichment and self-dealings only gets worse, though, because of the people that Trump has appointed to high-level government positions to bolster this effort even more. This is Howard Lutnick. He is Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary, and he is one of the biggest champions for crypto and global finance, and one of the industry's leading advocates, in addition to owning his own firm, which cashes in on this. So he's making a huge buck, especially being in government right now. This is Scott Turner, the Secretary of Housing and Urban Development. And for whatever reason, the day after Donald Trump announced that he was creating the strategic Bitcoin reserve through an executive order, Scott Turner, as the HUD Secretary, said that the agency was considering launching a crypto experiment. Just so we're clear, this is an agency that is in charge of supervising billions of dollars in aid and homes. And they're going to open up a crypto section. Why? And apparently, reporting from ProPublica indicates that also other officials at HUD had the same question. One official asked why the agency was considering the project, quote, because it's sexy, someone replied. Another said, Irv has asked us to pursue blockchain, so that's why we're looking at it. Referring to Dennis, many details were left unexplained at the meeting, including, crucially, whether the proposal would involve paying grantees in cryptocurrency, but some signaled that it would. End quote. So that was March. By April of this year, 3 Democrats on the House Financial Services Committee had actually reached out, essentially to HUD after reading that reporting by ProPublica, and immediately said, Scott Turner and HUD, you cannot do this. You have to stop any cryptocurrency experiments whatsoever. This is not what this agency is for. And in the letter here, you actually have the House Democrats calling out the blatant corruption here. Quote, it is unconscionable that at a time when your administration is reportedly exploring the use of stablecoins at HUD, Trump and his family are launching a dollar stablecoin through their company, World Liberty Financial. Not only does Trump's stablecoin challenge the constitutional standards addressing conflicts of interest, it creates an avenue for circumventing national security and anti-corruption laws by allowing our allies and our adversaries to anonymously transfer money to Trump and his inner circle. The federal government cannot allow under-regulated financial products to infiltrate critical housing programs, especially when they have already proven to be dangerous, speculative, and harmful to working individuals. End quote. So you see the problem here. We're allowing agencies to start having cryptocurrency sections. And the whole thing about this is people from foreign governments, foreign officials, people that want sway over Donald Trump can effectively just buy Donald Trump's coin. You know, invest in Donald Trump's crypto coin. If you want access to the presidency, invest in his crypto coin. If you want classified information, invest in his crypto coin. If you want something done in your country, or if you want a way to reach the Trump administration, hey, you want to get the presidency, or invest billions of dollars in crypto. Because Trump, all it takes is favor and shiny objects to get his attention, even if it's overtly corrupt and illegal. This is Bo Hines here. And just like Scott Turner, he is also a former football player. And right now, he is also leading the effort to make the U.S. the great crypto capital of the world. And he is the executive director of the President's Council of Advisors on Digital Assets. And this is the problem with him. Yes, he has experience in crypto, but with a Trump-themed meme coin. And get this, he also has massive connections in the crypto world. So there you go. There's another one. This is David Sachs, a South African billionaire who's also apparently pro-Russian. He is also Trump's crypto czar looking to expand the U.S. strategic reserve. He's the guy that Howard Lutnick is excited about and says that the Trump administration could achieve its crypto agenda by August. In addition to being the crypto guy, he is also over AI for the administration. But he has his own AI company. Oh my gosh. I apologize for laughing, but honestly, you have to laugh to keep from yelling or being viscerally outraged here, because you have to understand, in addition to being over crypto in the Trump administration, he's also over AI now that he says that AI companies and high-tech startups should play a central role in boosting U.S. competitiveness and national security. Of course he would say something like that because that's going to benefit him. So with all that context, it's not surprising that when these guys got in the U.S. government, the Security and Exchange Commission, the SEC, moved to scale back a special unit dedicated to investigating crypto. It also wasn't a surprise when DOJ disbanded its own investigating cryptocurrency crimes unit because Donald Trump signed an executive order telling them to do so. And the title of that executive order was Ending Regulation by Prosecution. So yes, let's get rid of the investigators investigating cryptocurrency crimes and potential cryptocurrency so we can do the cryptocurrency corruption. That's what's happening here. That is what's happening here. The independent agencies that were tasked with investigating cryptocurrency-related crimes, investigating corruption by it, those agencies have effectively disbanded their cryptocurrency investigative units under the direction of Donald Trump, who is the president of the United States, who has huge interest in that because he owns his own cryptocurrency coin, which continues to make billions of dollars. And he just acts surprised every time. Earlier this year, Donald Trump held a crypto summit at the White House, and it was just last week that he was set to hold a dinner at his private golf club in D.C., where the top 220 investors in his own personal crypto coin were invited, including people who wouldn't dare step foot inside the United States, like 34-year-old Chinese billionaire Justin Sun. Justin Sun was sued and accused of illegal crypto sales and market manipulation by the SEC. Well, Trump got rid of that. He got rid of those protections. And so Justin Sun got invited as a VIP guest for Donald Trump. And when the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, was asked if he was concerned about potential bribery or if he had even seen the guest list for this dinner, this was what he said here.
Let me ask you about the dinner that's happening this Thursday night. The president has offered access to him to the 200 top purchasers of his meme coin. Reports are that maybe about half or more of those individuals who will be meeting with him, many in a VIP reception, are foreigners. Do you have a list of those foreign individuals who will be meeting with the president?
I don't. I don't know anything about. I didn't even know there was a dinner on Thursday night, so I'm not sure what you're referring to.
So you don't know whether any of the foreign individuals who are going to be meeting with the president this Thursday night, for instance, are on our list of sanctioned individuals, or whether any of those individuals have connections to, let's say, terrorist organizations abroad?
Well, I think if they had terrorist links, the Department of Homeland Security probably would not have allowed them into the country. But again, I don't even know there is a dinner on Thursday. You're asking me about something I don't know about.
Well, but listen, this is a dinner that the president is having. It is likely going to involve some very significant foreign interests. You have to be pretty wealthy in order to be able to get inside this dinner. Isn't that a relevant question for the Secretary of State?
Yeah, I'm not the social
Which foreign
secretary,
interests are going to be speaking to the president? I mean, it's kind of naive to believe that they aren't going to be in that room talking about national security matters.
That is the U.S. Secretary of State, and he does not know or does not seem to care remotely if Donald Trump was potentially inviting people, to the United States for this cryptocurrency dinner that were harmful to the United States, or what kind of people were going to be in the room with him. I mean, foreign governments have already started using Trump's personal companies and assets to cozy up to him. Pakistan just appointed an advisor to World Liberty Financial. That is Donald Trump's crypto company. So they are trying to get access to the president by investing in crypto. There's also the Trump Gold Card. Let's say you're a foreign leader, or let's say you are someone from another country, like a Russian oligarch per se, and you want to get access to Donald Trump. You want to get access to the Trump administration. You want to make some type of impact. You want to make some type of noise so they can recognize you. Well, buy 10 of Donald Trump's gold cards, because you can afford it. I mean, you have billions of dollars in wealth. You can afford it. That's certainly going to get his ear. As someone who studies history, presidential history specifically, think about the history of corruption that has come out of the White House. Like, this is even worse than freaking Warren G. Harding with the Teapot Dome scandal, when you had a huge conglomerate amount of cabinet officials who were literally freaking benefiting from their jobs while serving as cabinet officials. This is diametrically worse than that. Donald Trump, as president, has found multiple streams of revenue to benefit from while not recusing himself, while not, giving the businesses to his son and saying, I'm not going to do this for the 4 years while I'm president. He's not doing that. He is making money now off of Trump crypto coin as president, which has gone unregulated because the agencies that were tasked with investigating it, they've been disbanded by him. He's also making money off of, Trump gold cards. It's trumpcard.gov. That's going to be announced soon. The Secretary of Commerce, Howard Lutnick, just said that. The Qatar plane, that is something else that is going to be given to Donald Trump. We just officially accepted that as a country recently. And now, of course, it is the corrupt pardon spree. Because what is corruption if there are not pardons with this administration? When Donald Trump picked Ed Martin to be the interim DC U.S. attorney, it raised major flags. That was earlier this year, after taking office. And it really was because that he previously represented January 6th insurrectionists. And when he got the job, he instantly fired the attorneys that were investigating the insurrection and also threatened to go after anyone that was openly critical of Elon Musk. ProPublica reported also essentially that Martin had ghost wrote online attacks against a judge back then. He also failed to disclose that he appeared on Russian state media more than 150 times. And he was supposed to be confirmed as the DC U.S. attorney, but he didn't get the votes from Republicans. Well, now, Ed Martin is serving as the pardon attorney at DOJ after the last one, Elizabeth Oyer, who was seen as objective, was fired from her role in an extremely alarming decision. And now that Ed Martin has the job, he is using it to help Donald Trump's friends and target his enemies. He flat out said at a press conference, quote, "If they can be charged, we'll charge them. But if they can't be charged, we will name them. And we will name them in a culture that respects shame. They should be people that are ashamed." According to official department policy, naming people who are under investigation, who aren't under investigation, or being charged is a violation because, of course, it's an intimidation tactic in which the Department of Justice is weaponized using a bullhorn effectively to incite the public against said individuals. That's effectively what he's saying here. Well, if we can't go after you, we're going to send the MAGAs, we're going to sick MAGA on you. That's what's happening here. It's extremely dangerous, but it's also unprofessional, and it's against the own department's policies. You don't just sick people on officials who aren't investigated by the administration, who aren't even being charged. It is political intimidation. It is persecution. It is how authoritative states operate. That's exactly what's happening here. And in many cases, we're also seeing pardons that are being sought after and that are effectively being bought in this second round of the Trump administration. And Ed Martin, being the pardon attorney, has particular say over how this goes. Trump is set to pardon reality TV stars Todd and Julie Chrisley, who were convicted of tax fraud. Their daughter spoke at the Republican National Convention last year. Trump just pardoned former Republican Congressman Michael Grimm, who was also convicted of tax fraud. This is Scott Jenkins, a former Virginia sheriff convicted of taking nearly $100,000 in bribes. He was set to serve a 10-year prison sentence this year until, boom, he got a pardon. This guy here is Jonathan Braun, a drug dealer who was essentially had his federal prison sentence commuted by Trump. He has been arrested 4 times since Trump has freed him. And recently, this April, he got hit with another charge, this time assault of a 3-year-old. He reportedly punched a man in the face and then shoved a 3-year-old child to the ground, causing a red mark on his back and substantial pain. Ed Martin is also now looking essentially at a pardon for Stewart Rhodes, the leader of the Oath Keepers, who was sentenced to 18 years in federal prison for his role in January 6th. The deadly insurrection on the Capitol that day when Donald Trump tried to overthrow our democratic republic to stay in power, all because he lost an election and he could not accept those results. And of course, the thing to understand about the Stewart Rhodes pardon here potentially happening is the fact that Donald Trump already pardoned en masse the January 6th domestic terrorist. This abrasive, abhorrent, a terrorist attack on our country incited by the President of the United States. He pardoned them, and now Ed Martin is considering, let's just pardon one of the big leaders here who was set to serve nearly 20 years in federal prison. Trump is also looking into pardons for people who plotted to kidnap and murder Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer. As insane as that is. But of course, this is in keeping with their ideology. This is in keeping with what their goal is here. If you are a friend of Donald Trump, the Department of Justice is going to work for you. If you are an enemy of the president, an enemy of Donald Trump, the Department of Justice is going to come after you. The Department of Justice is going to persecute you. And if we can't charge you, if we can't go after you through official charges or investigations, we effectively then are going to use our power as high-level officials at DOJ to name you specifically so that MAGA will deal with you. So that our own private civil army is going to deal with you then. Edward Martin essentially tweeted this, saying, effectively, no MAGA left behind. Implying, of course, that everyone that's MAGA, you did something that the left sees wrong, even though it might have been overtly illegal, like storming the freaking Capitol, well, you're going to be released, you're going to be pardoned, you'll be just fine. Trump just appointed his former defense lawyer to the U.S. Federal Court of Appeals. He will now be a judge there. This is the second lawyer of Donald Trump's to get a high-level judicial role. Earlier this year, Todd Blanche, another defense lawyer of Trump, was named the Deputy Attorney General of the United States. If Pam Bondi resigns, or she leaves, which technically I don't see happening, Todd Blanche, Donald Trump's former defense lawyer, would become the Attorney General of the United States. Effective immediately. What is happening here under this administration is not just, corruption that is happening in silence. It's not Watergate level corruption. It's not, Warren G. Harding Teapot Dome scandal corruption. This is blatant corruption. There is a freaking for sale sign in front of the White House. That's what's happening here. Any foreign official, anyone who wants to assuage, anyone who wants to get influence over this presidency, to get their way with the United States, to have the U.S. support something in their country, even if that is not in the best interest of U.S. foreign policy, they can effectively just buy 10 Trump gold cards. They can invest billions of dollars into his cryptocurrency thing. And boom, they have access to the White House. They have access to the presidency. You got millions of dollars, you donate to one of my son's initiatives, you donate to one of my businesses, hey, I can get you a pardon potentially. That's what's happening here. The White House is open for corruption. The U.S. government is open for corruption here. And the President of the United States is benefiting off of it in a way that is exponentially screwed up. But it's happening, and it's going mostly unchecked by even members by even in his own Republican Party. And yes, Democrats are doing their best to investigate and to go after this, but there has to be more concerted pushback. There has to be more concerted accountability efforts here. Because what's happening here is going to take decades to clean up. Because now anyone can get access to the president if you have just enough money, just enough influence. The door for corruption is open. The proverbial hat here is full of corruption cards, and this isn't even scratching the surface. More reporting tonight. We'll be right back. The Jeremiah Patterson Show is an independent news media platform. If you want to see more special reports like this, please consider becoming a paid subscriber to my Substack at TJPS News. When you become a paid subscriber, you'll get immediate access to exclusive content, opinion pieces, the upcoming Resistance podcast, and The More You Know, a series focused on diving deeper behind the headlines with historical context. One viewer who upgraded said, quote, "Your show is insightful, thought-provoking, and engaging. You shed light on key issues, inspire conversations, and tell impactful stories. Your passion and dedication shine through in every piece, keeping me informed and inspired," said Dr. Lisa. "I do this because it matters, because the investigative journalism is imperative. And most of all, I'm unabashed and unafraid to tell the truth. Upgrade now from free to paid for just $7.99 a month or $75 a year. Last week, The Intercept reported that ICE agents are camping outside immigration courts to make arrests. Quote, agents from the U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement have begun waiting outside immigration courts and federal buildings across the country to arrest people immediately after judges dismiss their immigration cases. The ICE tactic appears to be a shift aimed at increasing the pace of deportations. At New York's Varick Immigration Court, ICE agents on Wednesday began checking the documents of everyone who left, according to a source present who spoke on the condition of anonymity for fear of professional retaliation. The court is under the jurisdiction of the Department of Justice's Executive Office for Immigration Review. Quote, they are indeed checking individuals off list and attempting to detain them once they leave court, they said. According to the source, ICE detained at least 2 people after they left the courtroom. I've always told clients that immigration court is the one place you can't expect ICE not to be, because everybody wants you to go to immigration court, and if you don't go, it's an automatic deportation, said Matt Cameron, an immigration attorney in Boston. I am very concerned that people might hear this and decide not to go to court because they think it's unsafe. But if you don't go to court, it's automatic deportation, and that gives ICE an excuse to come after you a lot faster. This is a story that is gaining attraction in the country because it's something that is happening more and more. This is literally happening right now. This is local reporting here from NBC News out of San Diego, California.
The Trump administration's latest efforts to swiftly deport undocumented migrants is playing out in downtown San Diego's federal courthouse.
So advocates and attorneys are sounding the alarm about a new method that is being used to arrest people, including those who they say don't even have a criminal record. NBC7's Joey Safchik reports from the courthouse.
Activists are here at federal court watching a process of detaining immigrants unfold that they say is unprecedented, and they fear is the latest wrinkle in this discussion about access to due process diminishing.
I'm outraged. I'm shocked.
In her 12 years practicing immigration law, Emily Witzel says she's never seen this. ICE agents waiting right outside the courtroom, arresting people who've shown up for their hearings, but judges were told by the federal government to terminate their cases, leaving them vulnerable to arrest as soon as they walk outside. Once in custody, they're on a fast track to being deported.
Lack of notice and even basic human decency is what's super shocking to all of us.
No news cameras are allowed inside federal court. This video was provided to us by Alliance San Diego and filmed by the San Diego Immigrants' Rights Consortium. It appears to show a man fall to the ground while being detained in the hallway.
It leaves the individuals exposed as though they are here in an undocumented status.
According to a statement from ICE about this practice of expedited removal, an immigration judge has reviewed DHS's motion to dismiss proceedings and agreed that dismissal is appropriate in these cases. The Trump administration widely broadened the scope of who qualifies for expedited removal. Now, migrants without adequate documentation proving they've been in the U.S. for more than 2 years can be deported without a court hearing.
It's just a total disregard by the government for due process rights.
On Truth Social last month, President Trump said it was not possible to give everyone a trial.
This is basically people not given a chance to even say why they deserve to stay here when we told them they would have a chance to make that case.
Immigration attorney Weitzel was in court with a client this week.
I saw the doors swing open and there were ICE agents waiting there to pick them up and take them.
She doesn't think this will help with the backlog of 4 million cases, but she does think it will instill fear and stop people from showing up for court.
There are people who were arrested yesterday who had no idea this was going to happen to them. They go home, or their children go home from school, and they're not there anymore.
In that statement, ICE also tells us people who are arrested are being taken into custody pending removal from the United States. Activists believe they're being taken to the Otay Mesa Detention Center. Reporting downtown, Joey Safchik, NBC7.
And beyond the people who arrived in just the last 2 years, expedited removal could apply to nearly 1 million migrants who entered using that CBP One app. However, those people are still entitled to an interview with an asylum officer.
Once again, reporting from local NBC News out of San Diego, California, there are ICE agents staged outside of a courtroom as we're seeing more and more of these scenes across the country. That is not the only case, though. In New York City this week, a public school student in the Bronx was detained by ICE at his asylum hearing. He has no criminal record and entered the country legally under the Biden administration. When New York Mayor Eric Adams was asked if he would get involved in this case, since he's personally close with Donald Trump's border czar Tom Homan, he declined. Dylan, of course, has been sick with stomach problems and reportedly has not received medical attention or treatment since being moved to 4 different detention centers in the last 5 days. Stephen Miller, and Homeland Security Secretary, also known as dog killer Kristi Noem. I will forever refer to her as that because it is insane to shoot a dog and then write a book about it and then become the Secretary of Homeland Security, just based off sycophancy. But anyways, she and Stephen Miller have demanded that the immigration agents have sped up, have demanded from immigration agents that they speed up the arrest of immigrants. They want 3,000 arrests per day. According to reporting from Axios, in a meeting with these demands, Noem took a milder approach while Miller yelled at senior DHS officials about getting arrest and deportation numbers up. This week, April Ryan reported at Black Press USA that ICE deportation raids are planned in Martha's Vineyard. That news, of course, has evoked an environment of shock, sadness, and sickness, as this is a prime time moment for workers from other countries checking in for work at all these vacation spots here, like Martha's Vineyard. Harvard University has been at the center of all kinds of attacks from the Trump administration. Recently, it has been targeting the school's international enrollment program for foreign students. A federal judge has, for the second time, issued a preliminary injunction that will allow Harvard to continue enrolling international students after the Trump administration sought to end the program. In regard to that, they're also trying to go after Chinese students. In March, it was reported by The Intercept that 6 universities had received letters from congressional Republicans asking them to turn over information on programs where Chinese students participate and work on. That is a real story here. And this week, the Secretary of State, Marco Rubio, said that the United States will aggressively start targeting Chinese students. A high school senior with the media studies offer from Ohio State University told Reuters, quote, "I was super looking forward to starting my university life, but then all of this happened. I still need 1 to 2 months to apply for my visa. Term starts soon, and I have no time left. It's really a disaster out of nowhere and really unfair to international students." The Trump administration, of course, has been deporting children with cancer. Lots of them, actually. Many of them under the ages of 4. And in a new case, just this week, they are about to do this again with another child in a case where if she is sent out of the country, she actually will die within days because she needs the life-saving care that is offered here in the United States. And she would not get that if she is deported to Mexico. Watch.
Now to a family's fight to keep a 4-year-old girl here in California after they were asked to self-deport to Mexico. The toddler is currently receiving medical treatment here in Los Angeles. Good evening, everyone. I'm Carolyn Johnson.
And I'm Kathy Vara. Colleen and Michael are off tonight. Attorneys for her family say the Trump administration has ordered them to leave. And if that happens, the girl would die within days. NBC4's McCullough Medina has the details.
If deported and removed from accessing her specialized medical care, Sophia's doctors have been clear that she will die within days.
A dire prediction from the attorneys for 4-year-old Sofia Vargas, a pseudonym given to the little girl and her family who migrated from Mexico in 2023, granted humanitarian parole during the Biden administration to help treat a severe medical condition called short bowel syndrome that prevents her from absorbing nutrients from food.
porque no hay los mismos recursos médicos.
Her mother says they didn't have the access to the same medical services in Mexico. This is a photo of what little Sophia looked like while she was being treated at a hospital as a child in Mexico. Now at Children's Hospital in Los Angeles, Sophia is part of a specialized program that equips her with this backpack filled with proprietary equipment that feeds her nutrients that keeps her alive and mobile. At night, she's hooked up to a machine at home that does the same thing.
Disfruta mucho pasear.
Her mom says her backpack equipment lets her walk to the park like a normal child. She says in Mexico, doctors could only treat her in the hospital, and going back would commit her to life in a hospital bed indefinitely. Her attorneys are pleading with the Trump administration to let her stay and continue treatment until she improves enough to be off the backpack equipment. We reached out to DHS for comment and have not heard back. Her attorney says she can't take the equipment across the border, and it is not offered anywhere else outside the United States.
They have said that her condition has improved substantially, but that she is not at the point where she can survive on her own, and they don't have a specific timeline as to when that will be.
We reached out to Children's Hospital in LA for a statement. They told us they cannot participate for a comment. The family says the medical care is being covered through Medi-Cal. Both parents are working to support the family through the treatment, hoping the Trump administration will hear their plea and give them an opportunity to stay and continue the treatments. In Koreatown, I'm Mikalo Medina, NBC4 News.
So, I just wrote a book. It's called Resistance, a strategic guide on how to fight back, defend democracy, and avoid a Trump dictatorship. A lot of people have been feeling heartache and despair and despondency after the 2024 election. And that definitely is widely understandable, especially when you consider the guy who's literally about to be sworn in as president as someone who said that he was going to terminate the Constitution and be a dictator on day one. So in my new book, Resistance, what you get is 7 rules on how to defend democracy, to avoid authoritarianism, and how to literally fight back. It is compelling, richly historic, and a call to action. Resistance, out now. The link is in my bio. It's in my link tree. And once you click on the link tree link, you have like 3 different versions of the book pop up. Get your copy today. All right, here are 3 stories that we're following closely here as we end off the show tonight, starting with tariffs. Yesterday, the U.S. Court of International Trade Court blocked Trump's tariffs, ruling that the emergency law invoked by the White House did not give the president unilateral authority to impose tariffs on nearly every one of the world's countries. The court said that the U.S. Constitution gave that power exclusively to Congress, which is funny, by the way, because Congress gave that power back to him. I kid you not, Republicans in Congress gave the power to stop Donald Trump from doing anything about the disaster of nonsensical tariffs. They gave that power back to Trump. That's the only reason this case is in court in the first place, because Republicans were playing cowardice, so they didn't have to vote to stop Donald Trump. This was the front page, of course, of the Financial Times. He really hates this. Quote, White House moves to overturn ruling that Trump tariffs are illegal. So, of course, this is another breaking news story here, since we've been reporting an appeals court today has temporarily reinstated Donald Trump's tariffs. And now he is going to try to get the U.S. Supreme Court to step in by Friday, which is tomorrow, so to stop this completely, because we have activist judges, so he can do whatever he wants with the tariffs. So that's story number 1. This is story number 2, Doge here. This government slashing agency used to be run by Elon Musk. But now, since that he has left the government as of yesterday, it's great news, but not a sign that things will get better. And that's particularly because Musk has been replaced by Ross Vaught, the co-author of Project 2025. And Ross Vaught is far more dangerous than Elon Musk. So we're going to have more special reporting on that and the damage that Musk did to the government. That's going to be coming soon here on the Jeremiah Patterson Show. Story number 3 is about the Midwest storm crises that we're facing, also just storms across the country. Hurricane season is actually about to start, and Donald Trump is dismantling FEMA. And right now, several states have been hit with storms, and the administration is really not delivering in some cases. Last month, Arkansas was hit with a series of deadly tornadoes that killed 40 people. And Arkansas applied for disaster aid, and they got denied. Trump said the states need to do more. So the governor of that state, Sarah Huckabee Sanders, said that, hey, Trump, we're in dire need of federal assistance here. And it was still crickets until finally they did. And just now, he has also denied FEMA funding from Hurricane Helene to the state of North Carolina. After last year on the campaign trail, he said, Biden's not doing anything to help people in North Carolina. When I'm president, I will help people in North Carolina. He gets offered that chance to do something about it, and he has done nothing about it. He's calling essentially the disaster declaration request not warranted. In Missouri, Republican Senator Josh Hawley said that the state is desperate for assistance. The governor there has called a special session to address the need for disaster funding, and local officials are remaining optimistic that Trump will act quickly. But we shall see. That is going to do it for tonight's TJPS Evening News Show. I personally want to thank all of you so much. The Jeremiah Patterson Show is now number 28 in rising news on Substack. That is absolutely incredible. So I do appreciate you all so very much. And 13 paid subscribers here on Substack as well. I want to appreciate you, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. I have much appreciation there for you all. If you enjoyed this video, please be sure to comment any suggestions, questions, or your thoughts on this video. If you are a fan of the show, please recommend it to your family and friends. You can also support us by donating financially, as this is independent journalism, and we rely on your donations to continue this crucial work. Another way you can support my work is by becoming a paid subscriber to my Substack at TJPS News for just $7.99 a month or $75 a year. I will see you tomorrow for a special report on the Jeremiah Patterson Show. It's what I've been working on, why I've been on assignment. I'm going to be announcing that tomorrow to you all. Be sure to follow us on Blue Sky and Substack at TJPS News. If you have any questions, news topic request, or would like to do a collaboration, you can email me, tjpsnews@gmail.com.